Why, good job, everyone, makes your best worker stop trying. Your manager stands in front of the whole team and says, "Good job, everybody. You all did great." It sounds nice, it sounds fair, but one person in that room did most of the work, and they just heard that it didn't matter who did what. So next time, that person does a little less, not on purpose. They just stop trying quite as hard because last time trying hard didn't get them anything the people around them didn't also get. Scientists have studied the exact same thing for more than 100 years. Here's what they found. In 1913, a French engineer named Maximilien Ringelmann ran a simple test. He had people pull on a rope, and he attached a tool that measured exactly how hard each person pulled. One person pulling alone pulled with a certain amount of force, call that 100%. Then he added more people to the same rope and measured again. Two people together didn't pull twice as hard. Each one only pulled about 93% as hard as they had alone. With three people, each dropped to 85%. By 8 people, each person was pulling at only about half of their real strength. The more people on the rope, the less each person actually pulled. And when Ringelmann asked them afterward, every single person said they had pulled as hard as they could. They weren't lying. They honestly could not tell why they were doing less. Later, scientists worked out why. When you work in a group, no one can see how much you personally did. Your effort gets mixed together with everyone else's. And when no one can tell how hard you worked, most people slowly do less without ever noticing it. You have probably felt this yourself. Think of a group project at school where one person did almost all the work and everyone in the group got the same grade anyway. There is one thing that stops this. It happens when your own work can be seen and pointed to, when someone can say, "That part right there was you." That is what recognition really is. It is not just being polite. It is the thing that makes one person's work visible again inside a group. So the way a manager gives out the recognition matters more than it looks. In a study published in the journal Management Science, a researcher named Christiane Bradler and her team hired more than 300 people to do a boring data entry job for 3 hours. 2 hours in, with no warning, they gave some of the workers a thank you card. It was signed by the person in charge. That card was the entire reward. No money, no prize, just a card that showed someone had noticed. But they changed one thing from group to group. In some groups, everyone got a card. In some, only the single best worker got one. In some others, only the top 3 workers out of 8 got one. Then they measured how much everyone got done in the final hour. The cards worked. People did more. But giving the card to only the top 3 worked the best. Better than giving one to everybody, and better than giving one to just a single winner. And here's the surprising part. The people who worked harder after the cards were handed out were not mainly the people who got a card. It was the people who did not get one. They saw that the reward was real and that it went to the people who earned it, so they pushed themselves to do better next time. So giving a card to the right people made even the people without cards work harder. That leads to an obvious question. If rewarding the right people lifts everyone, what happens when you reward everyone the same, no matter what they did? To answer that, you have to watch the hardest workers. In 1983, a psychologist named Kerr ran his own experiments and paid close attention to the people who kept trying while others slacked off. He wanted to know what those hard workers do when they notice that the person next to them is barely working and getting the same reward anyway. They stop trying too. Not because they are lazy, because it feels unfair. If you work twice as hard as the person beside you, and you both get the same exact good job, you start to feel stupid for working so hard. So you slow down until you match them. Kerr called this the sucker effect. Nobody wants to be the sucker who does all the work and gets nothing extra for it. There is a simple idea behind this that researchers call equity theory. It just means that people do not judge a reward on its own. They compare it to what the person next to them got and to what that person actually did. A reward only feels fair when it matches the effort. So, hearing "good job, everyone" is not a harmless thing to say. To the people who did the most, it says their extra work counted for nothing. And once someone learns that lesson, the logical choice is to stop doing extra work. Now, here's the best part most people get wrong. Once managers learn all of this, they usually think the fix is to give out more recognition, more awards, Employee of the Month, a points app, a thank you card for everybody. But that can make things worse, and scientists have measured that too. In a study published in the journal Organization Science, researchers named Gubler, Larkin, and Pierce watched a company start handing out an award for perfect attendance. It sounded like a good idea. It backfired. The workers who had already shown up on time every single day for years suddenly got nothing, unless they now won a prize for doing the thing they had always done. Being reliable stopped feeling appreciated and started feeling invisible, so some of them started showing up less. The same pattern turns up again and again. When you hand one person an award, they usually work harder, but the people standing next to them who did not get one often work less. A reward given without care does not just fail to help. It can take a good worker and teach them to quit trying. There is one more trap. If you turn every good thing a person does into points or prizes, people start doing it only for the prize. And a large review of 40 years of research found that piling rewards on top of work someone already cared about can make them stop caring about the work itself. So the answer was never give more praise, and it was never praise everyone the same either. Both of those bring back the exact same problems they were meant to fix. One hides who did the work. The other tells people the work was worth not doing. What actually works is narrower and harder to do. The praise has to be specific, so the person knows exactly what they did well. And it has to be earned, so it actually means something. It has to be fair, so your best people don't feel cheated. And it can't quietly insult everyone who didn't get any. Good job, everyone is the easy choice. It doesn't make anyone uncomfortable. Real recognition means looking at the team and saying out loud who actually did the work, even when that is the hardest thing to say. The person who did the most work on your team already knows whether you noticed. They are just waiting to find out if you will say it.